All right. I think we're recording. Okay, let's just go for it. Okay. Hey friends, welcome to the channel. My name is Delapo. Today I'll be talking about how I got into my first role as an AI product manager, a little bit about why I went into product management, how I'm finding it so far, and just a few lessons that I've learned from my first week. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so first I'll talk a little bit about why I decided to go into PM in the first place. And that decision was honestly a pretty easy one. So when I was in college, I was pretty lucky to do a few software engineering internships and get a sense of what software development is like on a team environment that gets scale at a big company, at a big tech company. And I mean, honestly, those tech internships were great. Like it was my first time earning a lot of money, being in a team, getting to go to the office, getting a lot of free snacks and everything. But to be honest, I didn't find like the work that enjoyable or that like fulfilling. And I think the biggest thing is I enjoy coding. I don't really enjoy coding when it's someone else that's telling me what to do and when I don't have as much say or influence as to the direction of like why we're doing this or why exactly we're like writing something this way. And so me going into product management was really because I just wanted to have a little bit more influence as the direction of the things that I'm working on. And yeah, just be able to have more of my input to be like valued and more of my input to be, I guess like utilized with how the product is going or where the product is going. That was probably the biggest thing. In terms of like how I got into AI, so I was pretty lucky. I did a master's or when I was an undergrad, I had the opportunity to work in a few research labs, in a few different like AI positions. So I was working in one reinforcement learning lab, and then I was also a teaching assistant for one of the introductory machine learning classes in school. And then I went on and did a master's in AI and machine learning, and that was great because it showed recruiters and potential employers that I had a pretty solid background with artificial intelligence and machine learning. And I was lucky because when I was doing my master's, that was right around the time when ChatGPT launched. So all these corporate companies or all these companies are really looking to integrate AI into their products. And yeah, it was just kind of like really good timing for what I was doing in school at the time. And then a few thoughts on my first week. I think that honestly, the hardest thing that I've learned about being a product manager so far, and really it's only been a few weeks, is how important it is to be able to balance like the expectations from the people around you. And you're really sitting at the intersection of engineers, designers, product, like different stakeholders, more like business incentives. And it's really, really important to be able to juggle, all the different priorities that everyone's going to have. And so what that requires is one, building trust, but also two, being able to communicate at a level that can be understood and received by the people you're sort of speaking with. So I would say that's probably the biggest thing, is learning how to build trust with engineers, especially because I'm not someone who has like tons of years of engineering experience. And so letting, data scientists or engineers on the team know that, hey, like I do know what I'm talking about, in a way that doesn't feel like I'm like a know-it-all, but is quite natural and shows that, that I'm trying to support them and that at the end of the day, I want this product to really succeed. So I'd say that has been a pretty tricky one, but I'm getting the hang of it. Okay, another big thing is with this whole like boom in AI and how excited and the sort of like race to implement like AI systems and these like large language models and open AI models into a lot of like companies' products, there's a huge resistance, especially in a field like education, where the products are directly impacting students and teachers. And so the worst thing that you would want is to put like an AI powered tool in front of students or in front of teachers and have that AI tool produce information that is seemingly correct, but in reality actually like isn't, and is leading them down a wrong path, because these systems don't have like fact verification methods in place so far. So I'd say also dealing with the resistance towards like AI products, especially from people with like non-technical backgrounds who can use ChatGPT and understand, okay, these are the biggest flaws, but don't necessarily have the background to understand, okay, why are these like flaws being generated in the first place? So you can imagine that if you're someone in that position, you're going to have hesitancy and you're going to be resistant towards, seeing these AI powered tools being put in front of teachers and students. So I'd say that's also like a pretty big thing. There's one, so balancing like the trust with engineers and people that are on my team and letting them know that, hey, like I know what I'm talking about because I don't have like years of experience in the industry. And then two is managing people's like risk tolerance to AI tools. Even though we may not be at the point where we're able to put it right in front of like all of our end users, but there's definitely like tons of processes that can be sped up and made more efficient by integrating like AI tools. So I'd say that's been a pretty big thing. The next thing I just want to talk about is some next steps and things that I want to work on going forward. I think the first thing is just finding a mentor. I didn't come into like an APM program or a cohort, one of those programs where maybe there's like 10 to 40 PMs coming into the company. And so as a result, there's like really intentionally placed support systems and professional development systems. So I kind of came into a role thrown in. I'm like, don't really have any person that's there to support me unless I go out and seek it. And I think the biggest thing for me is finding a mentor, finding someone that I can really trust. And maybe that's not like 10 years ahead of me in terms of product experience, but maybe is a year or 2 years ahead of me, or, you know, someone who's more at my level who knows the more recent landscape and can really help guide me. And then, yeah, I think the last thing I would say is just with starting a corporate job is realizing that, you know, you don't have to find all of your fulfillment and all of the energy and all of the satisfaction that you want out of your job. You know, I'm super lucky to be working remotely and to have a position that gives me a lot of autonomy and that gives me a lot of flexibility. But I think it's also really important for me to remember at the end of the day that, hey, like, I don't have to rely on this job, even though it's something that I'm doing for paid employment and for my wage and to make money. I don't have to rely on it as something that's going to be the thing that brings me all my fulfillment that I want in life. You know, that's why I also have friends and family that I invest in. That's why I also have other things that I do on the side. So other hobbies and stuff like that. And I think shifting away from the narrative that my job has to be the sole source of, you know, joy, fulfillment, and all of that. And it really helps me compartmentalize, you know, what my job is. And hey, it's this thing that I do for money versus the rest of my life, which is, you know, all the other things that I want to invest my time, energy, and attention towards. But those are kind of like my reflections and closing thoughts from, or just thoughts in general from a few weeks being an AI product manager. Thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed that video, you can click here to see my latest video. And yeah, see you soon in the next one.